The tannery, also known as Whitehall Leather Company, has been polluting White Lake since it was established in 1866. It made all different types of leather out of cowhides that were exported from the Kansas City area. After it was shut down, the damage in White Lake was abundant. Chemicals and cowhides were dumped into the lake and it became a toxic soup of disgusting sediments. White Lake, being polluted and unhealthy, has affected the lives of people and the lives of things that have inhabited it tremendously. The tannery was demolished on August 22, 2007. Genesco was the former owner of Whitehall Leather. They manufactured dress shoes, military boots and shoes, work boots and casual shoes that were made from cowhides manufactured in Whitehall. Whitehall had gotten their hides from Kansas City. The nation's best meat packaging companies were located in Kansas City, and before they sent the hides to Whitehall, they preserved them. The companies began by stripping the hides and then salting them. When the hides arrived at the tannery, the workers began the treatment process. The first step was washing the hides in large baths to free them of the salt that they were processed in. During the next step, they inserted the washed hides in large 10-foot diameter drums. The lime inside of them softened the hair that was still attached to them. After that, they took the wastewater that was full of lime and hair and passed it through screens that removed the hair to make insulations to sell. In the last step, they took the last of the wastewater and flowed it through a series of 6 descending ponds to settle out the extra solids before entering White Lake. However, large masses of hair and solids passed through the small ponds into the lake, eventually creating Hyde Island. When the water in White Lake was low, purple mud was exposed in Tannery Bay. This caused a gigantic public uproar in Whitehall and Montague. It was kind of a purple-red color. The tannery used lots of dye, said Tanya Kabbalah. This mysterious mud was encountered in this site in the past. However, it was not taken care of well. The range of the purple sediments was roughly 6,000 to 10,000 cubic yards, and it would cost close to $1 million to clean up completely. White Lake was designated one of the 43 Great Lakes Areas of Concern in 1985. The major pollution began in the 1950s, but it was ultimately recognized in the 1980s when the state and federal environmental authorities placed White Lake on the list of pollution concerns. People also discovered mercury, arsenic, and other toxic elements in White Lake. This resulted from tanning operations done inside the tannery. 187,000 tons of soil were contaminated. The tannery used a large variety of things to process the hides. Every single one of the chemicals gradually made its way into White Lake. The plant used sulfuric acids and oils to soften the leather. They also used chromium compounds for the tanning. The chemicals used on the leather varied depending on what products they were making. The issue became so unbearable to the point where the federal government identified White Lake as a dead zone of chromium-contaminated sediments on the bottom of the lake. So many people are angry and sad about this situation. Many of them live on or close to White Lake, and it is a part of their lives. If the lake is affected, the people living in Whitehall and Montague are also impacted. Also, they are concerned about where the dredged sediments are actually being dumped. I am adamantly opposed to using public parks or other public property as disposal sites for that material, says Holly Hughes of White River Township. I feel it is Whitehall Leather's responsibility to clean up their mess. Several people at a meeting for discussing the issue said they favored a $7 million plan to dredge the mud to take it to a landfill. The state will pay for the work if Genesco refuses to cooperate and sue the company later in a bid to recover cleanup costs. The overall cost will be up to $8.5 million depending on which option the State Department Environmental Quality chooses. Before they start dredging, the sediments must be hardened with cement powder to thicken the sediment so they can be hauled to a landfill afterwards. All of this went on in 2000. The issue of the pollutants in White Lake is still going on, but it is almost taken care of. White Lake will eventually be taken off the toxic lake list after this year, and everybody in Whitehall can be at rest again. Whitehall Leather has made White Lake polluted and unhealthy. It affected the whole ecosystem and the people who live around the lake. The pollution has finally been taken care of, and the once contaminated site of the tannery is clean. Dredging inside of White Lake is still currently taking place, but the problem is being solved. Later this year, White Lake will be completely free of tannery polluted sediments. Other tanneries should take the thought of what happened to White Lake into account before they decide to start destroying Michigan's precious lakes.